Hey, what's going on? My name is Trogdor, and welcome back to the PTL, the Pokemon Tri-League, in which there are 2 draft pools and 4 teams and 12 weeks, and I'm looking for the number 3 and literally can't find it. Why the name Tri? Well, this and it's season 4. Wait, is it season 4 or is it season 5? I've been here since season 0, or was that season 1? Was PTL season 2 really NSTL season 2? I don't know. I'm so bad at keeping track of these kinds of things. Speaking of things that I can't keep track of, what was my opponent's name? My opponent is alright in the Toronto Blue Jays. And I'm looking for my opponent's draft. You can already see the team that my opponent brought, but I want to go over my opponent's draft, and you'll see, why I did some things that I did. So my opponent's team is VISH, Dracovish, Cobalion, Celebi, Pelipper, Galvantula, Aromatisse, Stunfisk, Mr. Rhyme, Dreadnought, and Silvally regular. That's Silvally that can just be normal type, but with all the items, because we did this weird thing where each type of Silvally was a different drafted Pokemon. It made sense because the draft pool was so limited, even though we allowed things like Celebi, Jirachi, Zero Aura, etc. It's a really weird format, but you know what, gamers? It works. So my team, I originally rocked this team with 2 Scarfers, Duraludon and Rotom Fun, but right now my only Scarfer is Rotom Fun. I decided to make Duraludon bulky instead. I also have the best counter to Dracovish in the entire world, and that is Gastrodon with the Storm Drain that I remembered because I'm good at this game. I have a Calm Mind Chandelure, and you're thinking, like, with so many water types and rain, and why Chandelure? Because I thought just in case my opponent doesn't bring rain, Chandelure can run ham on this team. I have a pretty bulky AV Serena that's also fast and can go spinny spin, and it has decent coverage. I'm rocking like spin, grass, U-turn, and knockoff. Not high jump kick. I don't know why. Why didn't I bring high jump kick? I don't know. That would have been smart of me, wouldn't it? And lastly, I have Speedwagon, the Excelgor, which is rocking a pretty meme set in Throat Spray with Bug Buzz, Giga Drain, Focus Miss, and something else. What else does Excelgor learn? Anyway, so that's my team. So you'll notice that my opponent did not, in fact, bring rain. There is no Pelipper or Dreadnought to take advantage of the rain. There's still a Dracovish, and Fishy Rend is still kind of move. But they're not being rain. I looked at this and I was like, oh, Chandelure does amazing here. It can just like punch in a whole hole. And also that makes Excelgor's life easier as well as a cleaner, because Pelipper was the one thing that Excelgor could not do very well. One thing against which Excelgor could not do very well. So I just got to weaken his team, especially the Dracovish and the Stunfisk. Also, with the Stunfisk there, that means Rotom can't just Volt Switch freely all over the place, which is really annoying for me. I was like, he's not going to bring Stunfisk. There's no way. What can it do versus me? So of course it comes, and of course it's going to be annoying as all heck for me. Let's get into the battle, gamers. So I'm going to lead with my Duraludon as he goes for the Cobalion, and I want to get up my rocks, but I also don't want to die to a close combat. And it's also tempting to go for a... What is it? No, I just want to get up my rocks, right. My opponent goes for Voltoy, so this was like the longest first turn of my entire life. I was calculating, since I'm really bulky, can I live a close combat? Probably not. Is it worth going into my Rotom to tank it? Is it worth going into Chandelure to potentially be immune to it? And Cobalion could be so many sets. It's so good versus me with like offensive Stealth Rocker. Like, it's not Life Orb here, so it could be Choice Banded or Scarfed or Specs if he wants to meme really hard. So Stunfisk comes in as I get up my rocks, and oh look, this thing is going to be incredibly annoying to me. So I'm going to go into Serena just in case he wants to go for rocks of his own, but I get Toxic instead. So as he protects, maybe predicting a high jump kick. Good thing I don't have that, as I go for the Trop Kick. as Cobalion comes in. I smartly go for the U-turn right here and get out of town and go for the Chandelure, hoping to force him out. I could be bluffing the Scarf right here, well I kind of am. Luckily no hazards are up on my side of the field because I'm wearing a Boots Chandelure because I was very afraid of it with the webs, and he has other good hazard setters, so I did not, since I'm substitute, and I want to say leftovers too. Hazards, I just don't want to mess around with hazards, even though I've got Spinny Spin Spin on my Serena, and do I have Defog on my Rotom? Yeah, I think I'm rocking Scarf Defog. Or wait, no, I took Defog off because I had Skuntic on my team for a while, but I took Skunk off last minute for Speedwagon. So yeah, so I'm hoping that he forces himself out, which he does, so I can go for the sub. And next turn, I'm going to rock a Calm Mind and hopefully blow this thing back with a couple of Fire Blasts. Earth Power is coming through, as I'm going to go for a big Fire Blast. Since, thanks to the +1 Spadef, I can tank another Earth Power. And I'm looking at the range of the damage, and it's like, oh, I don't have to risk a Fire Blast miss. I can just go for a Shadow Ball. He goes for the Protect, and I should have remembered that leftovers exist, and I should have just gone for another Fire Blast to take it out, but instead, go for the Shadow Ball, and Chandelure goes down. So, remember the part where I said Stunfisk would be incredibly annoying for me? And now it's at 13%, so anything could take it down, really. I could bring in Gastrodon and take it down with either of my attacks. I could go into Excelgor and just go for a Giga Drain. I can go into Serena and go for the Drop Kick. But, genius that I am, I go into Rotom Fun and go for the one move that can't take it out. And I get Toxic. And oh, geez, just there's so many things bad about this because Rotom Fun could have potentially been my win con. Without Stunfisk, I could have just like spammed Thunderbolt all over the place. It's not taking out the Draco. Well, no, I was thinking of going more for just switching around between Gastro and Duraludon and just getting a bunch of damage with Rotom. But Stunfisk had to go down for that. So I go into the one thing that couldn't take it out, and I get Toxic. And now it's not going to be very good as a win con, being so worn down. And another Air Slash now can't take it out. So my opponent goes into Mr. Rhyme. That's fine. I get a lot of damage. Well, it's down to half now, so I can go into Duraludon and blow it back with a Flash Cannon if I want. But he goes for the Slack Off, and I'm still going to click buttons with like that. Freeze Dry. Yeah, I figured that Freeze Dry Psychic is just doing a lot of damage to my team, but you know what? Flash Cannon's doing a lot of damage to you. Bye-bye. So we're sitting at 5-5, and now the Cobalion comes in, and I know it's going to go for a close combat because I protect beforehand. I'm so smart at scouting things. I know how to play this game well. Rotom comes in. I know I can live this, but ow. That's just a big ow. So I'm pretty sure that I'm faster, and I can go for an Air Slash. Him switching out confirms that for me as Skuntank goes down. Did I say Skuntank? I meant Stunfisk. Dirtfish. So now that the path is clear for Rotom to go green eggs and ham on my opponent, Rotom's about to go dead. And Dracovish comes in. I've got the best counter in the world for Dracovish, but he goes for the Outrage, and the best counter in the world for Dracovish is about to die. Yeah. So he gets 3 turns of Outrage, and I go into Rotom Fun. I can get one big hit off of on him as he goes for the last Outrage. So I just had to sack 2 things to the VISH, as I'm actually very thankful that I got the 3 turns of Outrage. Now that Stunfisk is gone, and now that VISH is weakened, sacking 2 things was worthwhile because that paves the way potentially for Speedwagon to come in and save the day. So I can go for the Bug Buzz and get my delicious Throat Spray. And then I can outspeed everything. Because of the Unburden, I made sure that after the Unburden, I could outspeed even a Scarfed Galvantula or Scarfed Cobalion or Scarfed Celebi or Dreadnought in the Rain. But he doesn't have Rain. So it all comes down to this, gamers. Because if I misplay Excelgor right here, I am as good as dead as this Galvantula. So I get my Throat Spray, and that's amazing because I have the Unburden. And okay, this part right here, gamers, like, okay. So you know how in Pokemon there's this thing where they kind of disregard all of mathematics. And having taken a class in probability right before I graduated with a degree in mathematics, because I'm a mathematician and really good at math, I was scratching my head the entire time, seeing if there's any kind of theorem in probability that could explain why in Pokemon 30% equals 100% and 70% equals 0%. So things like Curse Body, it's a 30% chance of getting the Curse Body. Always happens. Focus Blast, 70% chance of hits and never hits. So it's just one of those strange anomalous things in probability that none of the theorems can properly explain. I don't know if it's because there is some faulty rules of logic. I don't know if it's because Cantor just had some problem in set theory, but that's not a consequence of there not being a set that contains all sets. It doesn't line up with any other paradox or contradiction in the world of mathematics. It probably just has to do something with there being on an analytic continuation of one of the discrete probability functions for sets of numbers that don't exist yet in mathematics but somehow exist in Pokemon. So if I were to actually properly prove this, I would have to extend the number system to, I don't know, some numbers that we haven't even discovered yet. And you know what? I would probably prove the Riemann hypothesis before being able to prove why Focus Blast never hits. Oh wait, it actually just did hit. So that's pretty cool, gamers, because now we can just clean up with Excelgor after that really long rant about how Pokemon is kind of dumb, but it actually worked out in my favor. So yeah, good game to my opponent. Had Focus missed, my opponent went for Stone Edge. Had Stone Edge missed, we would have been back to square one. Had Stone Edge hit, my opponent was apparently locked into it. I would have gone for Serena, started going for the... No, I would have had to go Duraludon and start spamming the Draco Meteors at that point. But not having a high jump kick on my Serena would have been bad news bear for me right there, because, yeah. But anyway, we roll out with a 3-0 victory against All Right Cap, and we're sitting pretty now at 4-4. Not pretty. We're still at -2 because a couple bad losses. But whatever, gamers. We're on a mini win streak. What's my biggest win streak ever? 3 wins? 3 wins is not that much of a streak. So yeah, we're 2/3 done with the season now. Let's see if we can get another winning record with this Garbo Gen 8 team that we have in such a weird, strange metagame that still doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, and in order to do that, we have to play probably the worst matchup I've ever seen in my entire life. I finished the battle, looked at my next matchup, and I just kind of cried myself to sleep. More on that next week. Subscribe if you want to see that. But anyway, that's all I've got for this week. So toss a like on the video if you liked it. Comment down below. You got anything else to say? And yeah, subscribe for this continued season of fun stuff. So yeah, that's all I've got for today. So I'll see everyone in the next video. Take care now. Bye-bye.